Andy, how are you? Looking at the team, was there a temptation to stick with as many who started against England, or was it rotation key?
I would say rotation. No, I'd say whatever's right for the team and the group going forward, and I'm making sure that we're able to find out about people who deserve a chance to compete for a shirt. And I suppose there's all sorts of different dynamics that's within that squad. Somebody like Tom Stewart, he deserves to battle for the number 2 shirt because he's been outstanding with how he's conducted himself within the camp over the last few weeks. So he needs an opportunity to be able to show what he can do under the lights here on Friday night. And then you've other guys, certainly like the likes of Robert Balogun or even Stu McCluskey or whatever, who's got to back up good performances. And making sure that is a consistent thing that they're able to keep pushing on with the game. So, I mean, we could go through the whole group in that regard, really.
Jacob, another chance for him to impress on the wing to try and get that France performance out of the system?
Well, I suppose there's a few others that had the opportunity to be able to do that against Italy and against England. And you're right in saying that. I suppose he's been waiting in the wings there to try and wait for another opportunity to have a crack at it, because again he's been showing up pretty well. He's a left winger. He's a fantastic athlete who can play rugby as well. And we've seen him growing behind the scenes. He's got an opportunity now to go and do it on Friday night, and we're looking forward to that.
Neil, then Darth.
Hi Andy, I know you don't put too much stock in the provinces where the players are playing, but it's been a while since we've had 5 Ulster players in a starting 15 and 7 in a match day 23.
Do you know, honestly, Bremer's just told me that, and honestly, I said this the whole time. I didn't know that. It's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, I agree. It's brilliant, but
I suppose the question is, what have you seen in like the confidence levels of those players over the course of this season?
Well, obviously, they're in the squad selected because of the form that they've been showing for the provinces. That's first and foremost. But the confidence that they've shown within the group to warrant a starting place or a debut or a substitute spot or whatever shows that they're keen to grow at this level as well. And we've seen that over the last 5 weeks.
I also have to ask you about the reports last week around your own future. Saracens put out their statement last week. Is there anything you can say to clarify your situation?
I mean, you'd expect me to say that I'm here to just concentrate on the Six Nations and what will be in the future. But I suppose it's people 2 and 2 together and making 5 with the connections, good friends with the owner, Owens there, all of that. But so you can see why that's happened. But no, I suppose we'll sit down and have discussions with the IRFU in the near future. That's for sure.
Thanks.
Cheers.
There. Hi Andy. You handed Nick Timney's first cap back in the summer of 2021. What are the biggest improvements you've seen since then to now?
Oh wow! I mean, I could talk for a good while actually about Nick, because his biggest work on from then to where he is now has always been about consistency of performance, because we've seen time and time again over that period what he can do. He's some athlete, you know. He's quick. He's unbelievably strong. He's very good over the ball. Got an eye for a good line, hitting a good line break, etc. It's just consistency of performance. I think his contact work has come on massively over the last 4 or 5 months. Certainly this season, that's improved out of sight. And you know, I suppose this isn't just giving him a chance to see what he can do. He's earned the right to start, and everyone in the squad knows that.
There's a lot of talk about Bundyaki coming back in for this game. How close was he to getting selected for the...
Well, it was close enough that he's training with us for 3 days, and yeah, it's good to see him. He's fit, and fit and able, but there's other lads playing well and earned the right to keep rolling on in that position. It was nice to see Jimmy O'Brien back in the squad, looking sharp as well as Robbie Henshaw. So all of a sudden, there's a little bit more depth coming back into the squad there.
Thanks. Peter, Pirate, then Ed for the close off line second.
And I'm sorry to go back to the provincial thing again, because I know you're not thinking bigger picture when you're in the middle of the Six Nations, but this time 2 years ago you had a 23 without any Ulster representation.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking that you must recognise that when there's an upswing in fortunes in one province, and when David Humphreys has spoken about the need for people to close the gap on Leinster,
yeah,
it's good. It's a good news story, isn't it?
It's a fantastic news story, yeah, and. It just goes to show, doesn't it, that if teams are playing well and playing good rugby and that they'll get selected. We've always said that it's selection is not really up to us. It's up to the players to show that they're worthy of the spot. The right to get in the room and then show us what they've got when they're in the room. And again, it's thoroughly deserved. All those lads who get to put the shirt on Friday night.
And is the way that Ulster have been playing, specifically the style they've been using, has that been helpful for you?
Well, there's a lot of similarities, which is obviously helpful, but there's all sorts of twists and turns that make a difference to how teams play, and rightly so. That's how it should be. But I suppose it makes it easier for people to be able to get up to speed quicker when they come into camp. I would have thought that, that's for sure. But I suppose the older and wiser you get at this level, the easier it becomes anyway. I suppose there's a few younger lads, as far as caps are concerned, that are coming into camp from Ulster. I suppose that does make it a little bit easier at the start.
Thanks.
Hi, Andy.
Hi.
I was just wondering about Wales. Obviously the results up to the Scotland game, hugely disappointing. I mean, have you been surprised by from 2023 to now in the decline?
Well, the story's been written many a times about the decline and how unfortunate it's been. But at the same time, we're playing them in a test match on Friday night, and for what I've seen from game one, like ourselves, that they've got better game on game, and the last game being as close as it gets to winning against a very good Scottish squad. So therefore, we've heard from the Welsh camp the confidence that they've got for that, and they're coming to Dublin on Friday night with a spring in the step, and we've heard that they're very familiar with how our lads play because of the familiarity with the URC and all of that. And I suppose, what influences that is probably the result last year against us as well. So it's up to us to make sure that we show them that we've moved on as well.
I was just going to ask quickly, you didn't have many bad runs at Wigan when you were a player.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, people want to remember the good ones, but I did have some bad ones.
But when those bad runs were happening,
Yeah.
what was it like inside the change room? I was thinking of both players, and did you just take one result to sort of flip the switch?
Do you know what? Yeah, because you worry about it for a time. Why is this happening to me? And playing the victim and all that, and then you get to a point where you say sod it and you've nothing to lose, and that's where I would be, I suppose those lads, they want to right a few wrongs and make sure that they're part of the squad that turn Welsh rugby around as well. So that makes them dangerous week on week.
Just last question here.
Andy,
Hi.
can I just ask you about Jameson as his 50th cap? Can you just talk a bit about what you first saw in him and also how he's played and the successes he's had since you've been head coach?
Well, yeah, I mean, what you see in him is all those years ago is exactly what you see now. And He's not just. Everyone thinks it's the pace of the game that he plays at. He plays quick because he's unbelievably fit. But he's because of that fitness and that speed, he's able to play nice and calm within his head and see things that others don't really. I think that's the definition of fitness, really. That the game becomes a little bit easy for you when everyone else is struggling, and he seems to be a step apart as far as that's concerned. On top of that, I suppose the more that you play international rugby, the more that your confidence grows to show everyone that you're able to not just be a top international player, but I would think he's trying to prove to himself and to his teammates that he's right up there with the best in the world. I think that's certainly how he's playing now. I know everyone talks about Dupont, but we're pretty lucky to have Jameson in our squad. And it's his fight, his determination. He's hard as nails. You wouldn't like to compete against him. Somebody asked a question the other day: if somebody broke in your house, who would you want protecting your house? It's just probably John Fogarty, a stupid question or something like that. And I thought straight away Jameson. Because somebody had underestimated him, he'd probably bite their ankles off first and then do whatever he wanted. But he's that type of competitor. He's the full box of tricks.
You mentioned Dupont there. How would Jameson compare to Dupont in your mind?
I think Dupont's a generational player. Probably he's certainly. He's right to speak about him in regards to, is he the best player that's ever been? Because he's that type of player. But the way that we play the game and the way that we want to play the game, Jameson suits us down to the ground.